can't stop. I can't stop playing this tone. What's happening, everybody? I wanted to make a video about this tone that I found on accident. It was a total mistake. I clicked on the wrong thing, and I just started playing with this tone, and I was like, this is so good. It's such a good Strat tone. And it's been so inspiring, and I'm sure maybe a tone that has this much reverb and delay just isn't for everyone, but I was like, you know what? I think this might be like the best, like just my best Strat tone I've ever gotten. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna make a video about it. So essentially what was happening was I was actually just kind of playing a clean sound on the Axe effects. And I was just kind of like noodling around on it, and I went to turn on a tremolo. I was like, oh, this would sound good with a tremolo. And I clicked on the wrong thing. I had the wrong thing selected, and it turned on a drive. It turned on like a, what it was, I think a tube screamer, kind of like overdrive. And I just kind of like went with it for a second, and I was like, ooh, if I just rolled that treble down a little bit, and boom, I had such a great tone, like right out of the box. I'm like, I did nothing to this thing. It just sounds great. And don't forget, guys, there will be a jam section at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that at the end, and you'll get your jam on. So I did something to the tone, though, that I immediately put back in there. And I'm actually think I'm going to do a separate video about this, but essentially I turned on a gate. I think the Axe Effects has an amazing gate. It doesn't really color the tone too much. And I turned it on, and then like that sparkle of the tone was gone. And I was like, huh. And I turned the gate back off, and there it was. And I realized I turned the gate on because, the pickup were single coils. They were getting kind of noisy. And personally, I like the noise of single coils, but I was just wanting a more kind of clean sound to the, distortion, if that makes any sense at all, without all the buzz. And I quickly realized that, the buzz that we're hearing is part of the tone sometimes. That's part of it's just sonically filling out what's going on. What was really interesting is, so I turned the gate back off, I'm like, oh, there it is. There was that sparkle of that tone that wasn't there with a gate on it. And I know, a gate is like, compressing it and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, the gate normally doesn't really do that on the Axe Effects anyways. And this time it did. And I was just like, man, that's part of the Strat tone. You want amazing Strat tone? It's probably why I've never really cared for noiseless single coils. I really like traditional single coil, even though they're loud, even though they're noisy. That's kind of to me, it's part of the fun. So you might be sitting there being, what's the point of this video? I don't know if there's really a point to it. It was just a really good tone that I found, and I was like, yo, bro, you good? And then I was like, yeah, okay. And I just kind of sat there, and it was just all about, sometimes you run across stuff that you weren't trying for. Like I said, my instinct was like, oh, a tremolo would sound good here. I turned on a drive, and with all this like crazy reverb and stuff, and then that single coil neck pickup. And if anything, the tone is kind of harsh. Like if I have my volume all the way up, it's harsh. So what you have to do is you have to work with the guitar. The guitar is the final phase of that tone. It's happening there, but if you want to really control it, it's about using the guitar, using your volume knob, using your fingers. That sometimes I'd be like, okay, bridge pickup, which again, it's harsh. A single coil pickup on a Strat on the bridge. It's not my favorite sound, but what I found works really well with it is if you use your fingers. So if you're using your fingers with this tone, it has a really warm sound. It gives it all that warmth that it's lacking. So mess with stuff that you don't normally use. I'm telling you what, the past year or so, I've really gotten into effects. You know, I was always like a bare bones kind of player. I just plugged into an amp, didn't really care about pedals. But now I find that they're so inspiring to mess around with, and most of all, it makes you play differently. Like when I turned this tone on, what happened was, you know, I play a lot of, you know, E, major, minor, pentatonic, that kind of stuff, but the sound of it led me to Lydian. That was the first thing that this inspired. I was like, oh, I didn't even mean to do that. Again, like I said, the tone was kind of directing me. I was just listening to it. And, you know, typically maybe I would go something like that. You know, that's more pentatonic. And I messed up and I went, I was like, oh, that has that Lydian vibe to it. And I remembered this riff I had played a long time ago. I was like, oh, that'd be really good there. I was like, oh man, this is good. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll do a video about this tone. I was like, well, I should probably come up with like 2 or 3 different things, you know, to play ahead of time. That way, it's not all just, you know, some of the stuff is just improvised, but, you know, just to get a rough idea. And I just kind of sat there, which is, again, weird. Like I said, I don't even know what these chords are. I just did them. At some point, I probably learned something like this. Other than that, there you have it, guys. Like I said, this is just meant to be a total geek fest of a video, and that's pretty much what it was. So I'm going to go ahead and just jam you guys out of here. I will play some rhythm for you with this tone, and have some fun soloing over this. Like I said, this tone was inspiring, and hopefully, if you know, anything in this video makes you want to pick up your guitar, well, then I count that as a mission accomplished. So I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful weekend. It's probably going to go up on Friday. And, yo, just jam. Have fun with it. You know, it doesn't always have to have a destination. Sometimes you're just along for the ride. So, let's jam out of here, yo.